One of the strongest unwritten rules in the American entertainment business is that the most successful global pop acts are expected to originate from the United States, or, at the very least, from Western countries that share a similar cultural background. From Elvis Presley to Michael Jackson, from Madonna to Beyoncé, and from Justin Bieber to Taylor Swift, American artists have historically controlled the global narrative of what constitutes mainstream pop. Even when artists from other regions enter the American market, such as Adele or Ed Sheeran from the UK, they still operate within Western cultural frameworks that align with US standards. Jungkook, however, breaks this foundational rule. His origin is not Western but Korean. South Korea has its own established music ecosystem in K-pop, which historically was dismissed by many in the US industry as a niche product designed for domestic or regional consumption. Yet Jungkook has transitioned seamlessly from being a member of BTS, one of K-pop's biggest global groups, into a solo artist recognized on equal footing with American pop stars. His success proves that the gatekeeping role of the United States as the cultural center of the music world has weakened. The fact that fans worldwide now wait for Jungkook's releases with the same anticipation as they do for American superstars shows that origin is no longer a limitation. The American market has always valued English as the default language of mainstream pop. Artists who do not record primarily in English often struggle to reach US radio stations, streaming playlists, and major award platforms. For decades, only occasional exceptions such as Latin artists like Shakira, Ricky Martin, or more recently, Bad Bunny were able to cross into the mainstream, and even then, most incorporated English into their careers to appeal to wider audiences. Jungkook's success challenges this linguistic dominance. While his solo tracks often include English lyrics, he does not fully abandon his Korean musical identity. His presence is accepted by global listeners who no longer demand perfect English fluency as a prerequisite for stardom. This signifies a turning point in the US industry, where audiences are proving more flexible than traditional executives predicted. In fact, the rise of Jungkook suggests that language is no longer the barrier it once was. Global streaming has normalized multilingual consumption, and the American industry must adapt to this reality. Another major principle in American entertainment is that record labels and media corporations carefully shape the public narrative of their stars. Traditionally, artists' images, release schedules, and promotional strategies are orchestrated by industry executives who understand the mechanics of chart placements, awards campaigns, and public relations. Artists are expected to follow these guidelines to maximize their careers. Jungkook's rise, however, demonstrates how much this structure has changed in the era of social media. While he is managed under HYBE, his visibility and influence extend far beyond what labels or USS corporations can engineer. Fans play a direct role in amplifying his work, organizing streaming campaigns, and keeping his name trending worldwide. Jungkook himself interacts with fans directly on platforms such as Weverse or Instagram, bypassing the need for traditional US media to validate his popularity. This decentralization undermines the control once held by record labels, showing that artists with a strong fan-driven ecosystem can rewrite the rules of global stardom. Historically, the US entertainment industry has positioned its artists as the standard for global excellence. Foreign artists could enter the market, but rarely did they compete directly with the most prominent American names for dominance. Even when international acts gained temporary success, they were often categorized as world music or placed in specific niches rather than being treated as mainstream pop. Jungkook defies this exclusivity. His music does not exist on the margins, it sits directly in competition with leading American artists on Billboard charts, Spotify playlists, and streaming numbers. Whether releasing a solo track or collaborating with Western artists, Jungkook achieves parity rather than secondary recognition. This parity challenges the assumption that American stars naturally occupy the top tier of global music. For the first time in decades, an artist from outside the US is consistently ranked alongside, and sometimes ahead, of the biggest American icons. The traditional US system often emphasizes a gradual career build. New artists are expected to release singles, secure radio play, perform at smaller venues, and climb step by step toward larger stages. This process is designed to ensure long-term stability and to allow labels to maximize profits over time. Jungkook, however, achieved instant recognition in the US market without following this developmental path. His years of global visibility with BTS gave him an existing platform, but what shocked the industry was how seamlessly he transitioned to solo success. His first solo releases charted at levels that new American artists typically take years to reach. This immediate impact undermines the idea that careers must be slowly nurtured within the US industry framework. Instead, it suggests that artists with global followings can bypass the slow-building model altogether. In the American entertainment industry, awards such as the Grammys have long functioned as gatekeepers. While commercial success matters, critical recognition and institutional validation are often used to confirm an artist's legitimacy. These awards have traditionally favored Western performers, with foreign acts struggling to break through despite having significant popularity. Jungkook's trajectory places pressure on this system. Even without extensive award recognition, his commercial power and cultural impact are undeniable. His position forces institutions to reconsider whether their criteria still reflect the reality of global music. As more attention shifts toward Jungkook and other international artists, the credibility of awards shows becomes questioned. If audiences view awards as disconnected from real global influence, their role as arbiters of taste weakens. A core assumption of the American music industry has been that fans are primarily consumers, not decision-makers. While fans purchase albums, attend concerts, and engage in fan clubs, the larger strategies are always guided by industry executives. Fans are expected to react, not to lead. The case of Jungkook demonstrates a complete reversal of this assumption. His fans act as organizers, promoters, and even publicists. They create viral campaigns, translate content into multiple languages, and mobilize across continents to ensure his visibility. This level of fan participation is rarely seen in the US, where labels usually dictate campaigns. The fact that Jungkook's fandom can mobilize global impact without traditional industry structures signals a new era where consumer power directly shapes success. Foreign artists attempting to succeed in the US are typically encouraged to adapt their style to American preferences. This includes adopting Western fashion trends, lyrical styles, and performance aesthetics. The expectation is that assimilation is required for acceptance. Jungkook disrupts this by maintaining a balance between Korean cultural identity and global appeal. His fashion, choreography, and musical influences incorporate both Korean and international elements, creating a hybrid style that does not fully assimilate to American norms. This hybrid identity has proven successful, contradicting the idea that non-Western artists must abandon their roots to succeed in the US. Jungkook's career, does not simply represent another international artist entering the US market. It represents a direct challenge to the unwritten rules that have shaped American entertainment for decades. His origin outside the West, his multilingual music, his fan-driven success, and his ability to compete directly with US artists all contribute to an industry-wide shift. The shock expressed by American insiders stems not only from his achievements, but also from what they symbolize: the weakening of long-standing structures that once secured American dominance in global pop. The disruption is not temporary. The rules broken by Jungkook are unlikely to be re-established in the same way. Instead, the US industry faces a new reality where global audiences, digital platforms, and fan-driven ecosystems dictate success. Jungkook's presence is both a cause and a symptom of this transformation. In the next part, the analysis will expand further into how US corporations, media narratives, and global brand partnerships are adjusting to this challenge, as well as the long-term implications for the future of American entertainment.